Well, hello, welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and tonight we have another pathetic Rent a Royal session with the world's most despicable prince, Gingerbread. And I needed to give you a trigger warning because I was listening to his speech. He was trying to be funny, just trying, and I felt crushed by the massive weight of the secondhand embarrassment that I felt. It's a next level of cringe. It is hard to describe the feeling.
Love, I really love how you stole rugby from us, and you made it your own. Instead of passing it backwards, just pass it forwards. Why not wear pads and a helmet?
It's really painful to watch Harry trying to be funny because he's awkward as it gets, and he hasn't improved a bit. His speeches have been better and better, and I will talk about that in a minute. But you see, Harry's all over the place. He's rubbing his hands, he's covering his belly, all these signals and displays that he's nervous, that he doesn't want to be there, that he detests this kind of events. But being a Rent a Royal comes from that kind of sacrifices. And we still have 15 more seconds of a speech to watch. So here they go.
Of course, have an offense and defense. That makes sense. And why not take a breather every 15 seconds? And you know what? Instead of a 10-month season, let's just make it 18 weeks. Genius.
Well, one of the most awkward parts of his speech is the stark contrast between the background and how Harry was dressed. Pure black and white. I know that he wanted to be formal. He wanted to wear something that was neutral, but that was excessively neutral and bland and boring and, well, I guess that goes well with him. But if you take a look at the gentleman and the general audience who was there, they were a bit more creative with their suits. I mean, they might have been aware of how do people go to those awards, something that you have to find out in advance if you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. Not to mention the face they made in reaction to his jokes. It's like, bro, what is this? They were looking at him with compassion. You could see in their eyes that they were saying, with all the patience in the world, Harry, stop it. Get some help. Do it for yourself. And at least Harry had the opportunity to offer Meghan's voice acting services because I don't think that Bob Iger has time right now with all this storm that's coming to him, courtesy of Elon Musk. But that's a topic for my other channel. And I need to address the person, whoever it is, who writes Harry's jokes, because that person deserves a raise, or at least some words of encouragement. And I took the liberty of writing some words. I would have liked Sir Christopher Lee to read them, but he is no longer with us, so I will have to do it for him. You did your best. Sometimes life isn't fair, but your efforts are commendable. You deserve praise for the work you put into extracting fun out of a rock. Albeit nameless, you shall not be forgotten. Keep pushing onwards, you brave poet. But perhaps Harry is self sufficient. He doesn't need anyone at all to write jokes for him. As Lost in Film says in the most zen thing that I've read in all day, he doesn't need jokes. He is the joke, as something like Morpheus from the Matrix would say. And Pat Healthy Aging on Twitter had a great idea that I should do a body language comparison of this train wreck and Prince William's speech at the Ambulance Charity Gala. And that is a great idea. I think it's fair to compare the two bravos to see which one is the best speaker. But there's a caveat to this because there are different categories. Harry memorized his speech. He was not using a script. And since William was using one, well, you are going to have different body language just because of this. But let's take a look at William's delivery and speech to see how he delivered his words.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you also for the kind messages of support for Catherine and for my father, especially in recent days. It means a great deal to us all. It's fair to say the past few weeks have had a rather medical focus. So I thought I'd come to an air ambulance function to get away from it all.
So it's nice that he mentioned the king and Catherine and thanked everyone for the kind messages of support. But he also made sure to add some levity to the moment with a very British joke at the end of his introduction. But even so, he made sure to not overdo it. I could say that he was a bit uncomfortable, but he got the right amount of smirk to say, "Hey, I know it's not the best time to be funny, but at the same time, it is the right time to be funny because these are the kind of times in which humor is urgently needed." So he continued.
And Tom, if you wouldn't mind not borrowing either of the new helicopters for the next Mission Impossible, it would be appreciated. We've all seen on our screens that, how can I put it, you seem to have a different take on normal wear and tear to the rest of us. It's not the kind that buffs out.
Yeah, British humor is the best humor. And speaking of humor, you remember that I made this joke about Harry not meeting the king, but a cardboard cutout of the king just as a decoy so the king would make a swift escape to Sandringham. And I got two very funny answers that pretty well could be chapters of Harry's Spare too, and I'm going to read them aloud in my best Harry impersonation voice. And here we go. R. Omar 82. Pa was cold. He was quite quiet. He didn't speak to me. His body language was stiff and was smiling while I told him how unconscious bias he's been right now. An hour of me talking and Pa listening. I gave up and left him there, alone. He didn't even say goodbye. And Sarah Richards 3123. Pa sat rigidly on a black chair, wearing black shoes, which was racist. I told him so. He looked on without comment. He remained unmoved while I spoke of my demands and insulted his wife. To my horror, the concealed mic M wire on me fell to the floor. Pa said nothing. I did not respond. Not at all. Toodle-pip! 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 I shouted while scrambling to exit. Pa remained motionless, silent. I've narrowly escaped my life yet again, I thought, as boarding the plane. And some people woke up even stupider than yesterday, but maybe it's some kind of epidemics of low folic acid during pregnancy. Someone really wrote this headline, Prince William slammed for praising Kate Middleton's Filipino nurses. He made their race a focal point. I don't know how to say this in a gentlemanly way, but Filipino is not a race, you absolute blockheads. I don't know what kind of intern or journalist writes this. I'm sure that AI would not make this mistake because artificial intelligence at least takes a few seconds to search Google and find an answer to not embarrass yourself doing this. Of course, all they want is to attack the royal family. That is what matters. That is all what that matters. And you know that in my other Twitter account, I have been talking about US politics a lot lately. And one of the questions after what happened last night with President Biden's speech is, who will replace him in the presidential race? Because this is an obvious question that I will be answering on my other channel. But I made this poll with these options. Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, and Meghan Markle, just for kicks and giggles. And after 800 votes, more than 800 votes, our girl Meghan earned a respectable 13% of votes from the public that she will replace Biden in the presidential race. That's a lot. I mean, if the world is going crazy, we might as well go all the way. I'm sure there are going to be sugars that are betting on Meghan being president of the United States and queen of the United Kingdom at the same time because, you know, it's Meghan that we are talking about. But my royal rogues, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. And remember to download my free body language tips in the description of this video if you want to read anyone like a book. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Remember, much love and bliss.